So this is an interesting PDP. There's a lot of apps that do this kind of hotspot feature, but this appears to be hard coded. And basically what we're looking at here is hotspots with little value props for different features of a garment from early majority website. So how is this performance wise?
I like how it's implemented. It seems as though they aren't using any third-party library and they've just got positions, images, and content embedded right in here. And so I imagine they built this themselves or had an agency build it. But yeah, it's good. We noticed that it doesn't show up on mobile. So that's a bit of I don't know, a UX decision, I'm sure. One thing to be wary of is ensuring that the content that loads for it isn't also loaded on mobile so that you're not paying the performance penalty for the majority of your traffic that's not on a desktop device. And you'll notice as we reload quickly, this banner comes in, our cookie warning, and pushes everything down. And so this is again a case of layout shift. And there are other ways to accomplish this. But ideally, you're not moving any elements down. So the worst case scenario is if the person was trying to buy this one, for instance, oh, and then you put me directly on a different SKU right when I clicked, and then I add to cart without having noticed that I'd done that. And now I'm halfway through and I'm annoyed because you put the wrong thing in my cart. So, and we can also see that in Google's data here. There's not a ton of traffic for this site because their core web vitals is largely empty, but their cumulative layout shift is not great. And I expect that's largely in part to this. A lot of times you'll see it pop up on the bottom or overlay on top. Anything that's keeping these elements in a consistent position is a better strategy. Again, not necessarily a speed issue, more of a UX thing, but since layout shift is incorporated in Core Web Vitals, those conversations often get conflated. But generally, I like the implementation here. One thing we noticed on load is that it's quite quick, even with the throttled connection. Here it appears as though we're getting a lot of pre-rendered content from the server. So the initial HTML has something instead of having to boot an application and go and get all that content and then hydrate a view. This is coming in with, a lot actually in the initial page view. We've got the product name, the product tile comes in eventually, and there's a placeholder for that. So they've done a really good job of reserving real estate for elements, which prevents excessive layout shift. This is the only exception there. I'm sure once I've accepted this or declined it for the first time and I return, now I've been cookied, I'll never see that again. Anyway, that's the only gripe I would have in terms of Web Vitals.